Our story begins in Los Angeles, where we meet Lucifer, a powerful and wealthy devil who left hell to vacation in Los Angeles. God forgive me, he even has a fancy dog named Lux, and we see that he has a supernatural power. When he looks into anyone's eyes, he can see their sadness. Sorry, anyway, he can look into anyone's eyes, and he can bring out their deepest desires. Then we meet Mazikeen, who is a demon, and they call her Maze as a nickname, so Maze and Mazikeen. It's simply a lack of respect. Radwa El Sherbani of Los Angeles loves violence, and this is Amenadiel, Lucifer's brother. Of course, we can all see the resemblance. It's really obvious, and he has superpowers. He can stop time to run errands and return. We discover that their father is God, forgive me for saying this. 3 videos in a row, he's saying blasphemous and inappropriate things. I can't tell if you're an atheist or not, I just don't know what's going on. The important thing is, he came to get Lucy and take them back to hell again. Because he's Lucifer, the king of hell and all that. Of course, our guy Lucifer refuses. Come on, who would leave all these women behind and just walk away? Then we see Lucifer with another woman, just like that. And they're having a romantic moment in front of Lux, which is his nightclub. So a guy comes out of a car and starts shooting at them. Pew pew. And then another car crashes into the one that shot at them. We see that Lucifer doesn't die, nothing happens to him. Then another car crashes into the one that shot at them, and again, we see that Lucifer doesn't die, despite all the bullets fired at him. The criminal attempts to kill him, but dies in the process. The police officer, the beautiful Chloe, then arrives at the scene.
I'm tired, Captain. No, really.
I'm a tired single mother, a detective, and a strong woman. That's her ex-husband and her colleague at work. Her ex-husband is also her colleague at work. That's Dan Abo Lochjan. Then Chloe goes into the nightclub to see Lucifer and tries to question him. And none of that matters to him. What matters to him is picking her up. He's a man who thinks with his head too. He tries to investigate the situation and goes to someone he suspects. Investigator Chloe arrests him for getting involved in things that aren't his business. He unlocks the handcuffs and attempts to use magic on her, but it fails. Frustrated, he tries again, but it still doesn't work. After that, he decides to help her with the case and goes to this woman because she is related to the case. Linda, a psychiatrist, will genuinely listen to Lucifer. A psychiatrist, and she's going to listen to Lucifer. Then the events unfold. They find out who the killer is, and he shoots at them. But Lucifer takes the bullets, goes and beats the man up and shows him. His devilish face appears, guys. Then Chloe goes to the hospital, and we see Chloe surprised that Lucifer is still alive. Then Lucifer heads home. They're deep cellars, and I'm in the middle getting crushed. Yeah, watermelon. Yeah, watermelon, you idiot. Oh, watermelon. Then we also see that Chloe's daughter and Dan both have a bit of a crush on Lucifer. Who wouldn't love him? After that, as Lucifer is heading home, he meets Amandel, and Amandel is determined. He wants to send him back to hell again. I mean, after seeing Chloe, there's no way he's going back. Who would leave women like that and just walk away? Man, that's crazy. So Lucifer goes to the nightclub, and he stays upset, playing with the coin he has. Then he goes to Linda, and they make a deal. He talks with her since she's a psychiatrist and all, and she listens to him. Honestly, that's exactly what happens. The next day, there's another case, and Lucifer gets involved because the detective is there. He keeps using his power on criminals, and he and Chloe get closer. The criminal tries to shoot at them, but Lucifer calls Uncle Amandel. He can stop time, move the bullet to avoid hitting anyone, and then hit the shooter in the future. Chloe is surprised that the bullet's path changed instantly, hitting no one. In the end, they solve the case, and Chloe goes to the man Lucifer shot at earlier. The man goes crazy upon seeing Lucifer. Can you explain what's going on with Lucifer's devil face? And then the next day, there's a case. And he tags along with her. While reviewing the cameras, Chloe sees Lucifer brutally beating up the suspect, even worse than El Shahat Mabruk would. She starts to suspect something is wrong. The next day, they solve another case and grow closer, and Amandel gets angry. In this episode, Lucifer repeatedly attempts to persuade Chloe that he is the devil with supernatural powers, but she remains skeptical. During a mission, he repeatedly tells her, "I'm the devil, shoot me with fire and see for yourself." He persisted until she shot his leg with her gun. This time he bled, and that means the power doesn't work with Chloe. Or when I stand next to her like that, his power almost shuts off. So, Chloe has something special, something different. And as you know, when they're working on a case together, it always turns out like that. Amandel's flirting with Linda. Linda flirts with him every day, and it's normal. She's basically going around with everyone. In this episode, Amandel gets to know Linda. He's Lucifer's brother. So, if he flirts with her too, that's basically the whole family, mashallah. They're taking turns with Linda. She's doing an excellent job by not upsetting anyone. Wow. Lucifer and Chloe solve a case where Lucifer reveals himself to the criminal, causing the criminal to jump off the building in fear, killing himself. Well done, Lucifer. But we find out that this criminal had stolen something important from Lucifer. And we see Lucifer opening the box after he finds it. And we see that this thing disappeared, and Lucifer gets angry because it's something very important. And that day he was upset because he lost it. So while he's talking with Linda, he hits his hand on the wall, and we find out that this thing is his wings. You nailed it, Ahmed, mashallah. We find out that this thing is his wings, the plural of wing. He finds out they're being sold at an auction for strange items. So he, Amenadiel, that's me, and the homies go to get the wings. Then they go to the guy who owns the auction and show him their coin. He can trade the item for the wings from hell to impress the guy. However, he discovers that the wings he has are fake knockoffs. But then he goes to the guy's house and finds the real wings. And Lucifer burns them. Kadri wants to forget his life as the king of hell, and Yamandel gives him a beating for the nonsense he's doing. But on that day, something strange happens. What is it? What's going on? Did no one talk to Linda or what? Chloe, her ex-husband Dan, and Abu Lugud Janan were together. And Chloe gave him a strong French kiss, and there were feelings and all that. Then, the criminal who was killed woke up again and is trying to frame Dan for Lucifer in exchange for not hurting his family, because this criminal has seen hell and a lot of torture. He was messed up when he died. You might ask how he came back to life. Honestly, I don't know. The next day, Chloe tells Dan that what happened between them was wrong and shouldn't have happened. And Dan acts like a stand-up guy. Dan tries to protect Lucifer's reputation, but the man hits him anyway. Dan looks terrible. Meanwhile, Chloe approached Lucifer, attempting to kiss him, but Lucifer stopped her for unknown reasons. What a fool, throwing away such a blessing. And he tells her that he can't do that with her for some reason. Of course, we know why. I mean, is Linda just leaving her alone while he's hugging her like that and she falls asleep? And he realizes that he's obvious? I almost loved. And the next day, there was a case with the suspect. Let's call her Fathia. So the criminal who wants to kill Lucifer went with his gun and all, and I don't know if he's dumb or what, and Lucifer's just cool. But he wasn't afraid. This time, because he saw that hell is much worse than a lot of things, and Lucifer gives him a coin that might help him get out of hell so he can stay quiet for a while, after he was done with it. Fathia shoots Lucifer with fire. Lucifer's very popular. Dan, who is in bad shape, goes to Lucifer and tells him he came to stop the criminal. Fathia is then arrested. The following day, the case was connected to the devil's servant. Lucifer was happy, of course, mashallah. And on that day, Chloe and Dan were at the crime scene. Evidence pointed to Lucifer, so they suspected him. When they went to him, they found a body nearby, leading to Lucifer's arrest. And while this was happening, Amlad stopped time, took Lucifer, and disappeared in front of them. In the end, he still gets caught. Is he really that dumb? And at that moment, the criminal who wanted to kill Lucifer kidnaps Chloe and Dan's daughter, and Lucifer goes with her, just being annoying, and the criminal shoots Lucifer while Chloe is around him. He finds the gate of hell open, so he just comes out like it's nothing. The gate of hell's open, and he just comes out like it's normal. And Chloe throws the fire sword at the criminal, and Lucifer takes the coin from him. And we see, in the last scene, Lucifer is talking to Amenadiel and telling him what happened to him in hell when the criminal killed him, and that the gate is open. And that means someone escaped from hell. And we see Lucifer afraid and asking the question, who escaped from hell? And we see that the episode starts with a crime, and Chloe and Lucifer are investigating it. Chloe, you're amazing. And we get introduced to a god. A god, wow. And she goes around spreading love like, here, take some love, take some love, take some love. Hey, you in the back, did you get some love or not? And as soon as she saw Lucifer, she was like, oh my God. And she went straight over and hugged him. Just kept hugging him. Turns out, we see that she works with them in forensics, and we see in the episode, this one. Aman wants to convince Chloe that he's an angel and can't die. So he pulls out a gun and shoots himself, but nothing happens to him. So Chloe is shocked, like, what's going on, guys? How is this possible? He's fine and didn't die. Then he tries to convince her that he's an angel, just like Lucifer. But then he laughs and tells her he was actually wearing a bulletproof vest. What's this, man? and he tries to prove to her that they're not angels. He starts lying, as Lucifer himself is supposed to be the devil. Uncle Amand, you're the one who lies, not him. That's shameful and against our morals. He keeps lying without knowing why he did it all. During the case, Lucifer approaches the tough female suspect, who beats him up. He's weak because he's close to Chloe, so he gets beaten up. Then Chloe comes in and arrests her, but Lucifer looks bad. After the case is solved, Lucifer's at home playing music and singing with a voice like Uncle Saba. Bulbul. A woman covered in blood and wielding a knife barged in on him, reciting, "In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful." We later discovered that she was Lucifer's mother. She tells him, "My dear son, help me. I came to Earth, Dad," before collapsing unconscious. We discover that his mother escaped from hell and left the door open in the last episode. If he left the apartment door open, his mom would kill him. But when she left hell, she left the door open herself, and she came out in the form of a freshly dead body. Yeah, her mother was killed just like that, fresh. So she rises in that body. Of course, we all see the beauty of the body and how attractive it is. Yeah, that's the body. I apologize, but I'm not feeling well. When she meets Lucifer, she asks him basic questions about human bodily functions, like eating and using the bathroom, which are somewhat disgusting topics. The crucial detail is that he's searching for clean clothes to replace her blood-soaked ones, but can only find Mazakine's revealing outfits. As we all know, Mazakine's clothing is so immodest, it's almost like wearing nothing at all. Lucifer leaves his mother with Mazakine, who is rough with her. He goes to the police station and later finds out from Maze that his mother ran away. After searching for a while, he brings her back. And then Lucifer and Chloe solve a case. In the morning, as usual in every episode. And at the end of the episode, we see that Amandel tries to use his power and spread his wings. But his power is very weak, and his wings look like a scrawny chicken's. So in the previous recap, it was Amandel who was beating up Lucifer. But this time, it's his mother who does that. And there's a case about someone who got burned. Amandel visits Lucifer's house, discovering their mother there. Despite his shock, he proceeds to solve the case as usual. It means Allah tiki lam tiki lam. Lucifer's mother encounters a robber on the street and defeats him, reminiscent of the famous El Shot Mabruk scene, showcasing Lucifer's strong genes. Meanwhile, Linda notices Amandel is upset at her place. She sits down and asks him what's wrong. He initially says nothing, but after further questioning, he finally admits, "I'm afraid I might cross God's boundaries." The point is, he was just about to give her that smile. The same smile you always use, Kareem. Then he tells her he has a physical problem, so she says, "Why? You were fine yesterday." Anyway, he avoided talking about his strength and his muscles and all that, so she thought he was talking about his other kind of strength. What? That's Linda, beloved by millions and a friend to students. Mashallah, Linda, you're amazing. Lucifer, wait, Amanda, wait, Dan, no, really, there's no room. Sorry, we'll see. In the last episode, Mazakin appeared, and Lucifer and Amanda were talking. Amanda said, "How could you leave them with those vile creatures? You're responsible." Lucifer retorted, "Why don't you take her to hell yourself, Mr. Superstar, if you're so concerned?" He said, "I can't fly anymore." Chloe drives and gets into an accident, but the car is undamaged. Someone resembling Whale Gonum observes them. At the crime scene, Lucifer and Chloe notice the same person passing by. Lucifer follows him, revealing that the Whale Gonum lookalike is actually Uriel, their brother and fellow angel, something just like Whale.
Atheism, so he says,
"Lucifer, you have 24 hours to send your mother back to hell, or I'll finish what I tried to do with your detective, which means I'll kill her." Lucifer continues to protect Chloe, showing great concern for her well-being. Meanwhile, Lucifer's mother attempts to live as Charlotte, the lawyer whose body she inhabits. And then Amandel goes to Lucifer, and Lucifer finds out. And then Amandel goes to Lucifer, and Lucifer finds out. Uriel, their brother, joins the conversation. Lucifer warns Uriel that Amandel, as his older brother, will frighten him since he's now intelligent, strong, and tough. Amandel, dressed as a king, pretends to still have his powers and threatens Uriel. However, Uriel eventually learns the truth, that Amandel has grown weak and can barely stand. God help you, Linda, and best of luck. So, no one is going to talk to me? The whole series is blasphemous, and they're focusing on this one sentence. It's clear she said it without understanding. Where did she come from? She's telling Lucy no, and they're tearing each other apart. Lucifer takes the sword and kills Oriel, leaving him devastated. He waves to his mother, who hugs him as he cries, saying, "Mom," because killing his brother was difficult for him. Being genuine, Lucifer buries Oriel and the sword somewhere in the forest. And the next day, we see that Lucifer kept drinking, and during the case, Lucifer is drunk and out of it. Does he just keep messing things up more than he already does? Lucifer's furious that day. He gets angry at Dan in front of D-Nan and punches him. He tells Linda about his problems in killing the angel Oriel. But she thinks he's just giving an example. She tells him, "Be honest. I want to see the real Lucifer. I want to see him. Show me, please. Show me." "I can't." Mandel hasn't been working for a while, so he shows her. And even though we know she's seen him many times before. I mean his devil face. It's like it's the first time she's seen it. So she's shocked and just freezes, not moving or even blinking. She's just stuck, like she's broken. The following day, Linda avoids Lucifer's associates, including Mazikeen and Amenadiel. Maze persistently knocks on Linda's door, but Linda refuses to open it. Undeterred, Maze enters anyway, though it's unclear how she gains entry. Linda reveals to Mazikeen that Lucifer showed her something, and she remains frightened, worried Maze might show her the same thing. An episode titled, "Show Me to Tear My Clothes Off." And then at the end of the episode, she stops. And then at the end of the episode, she stops being afraid of her. And then Lucifer goes to her, and she starts asking him questions like, "So what about Hitler? What happened to him in hell after he died?" Chloe is distracted by cosmic questions when Lucifer, Amenadiel, and Maze visit her that day, disregarding Lucifer's own troubles. At the place where they buried Uriel, they find that someone has dug up the grave and taken the sword, but Uriel's body is still there as it was. Now, they have to get the sword back. Then he asks Ella from Forensics to help him figure out who was there at the place where they were buried. And of course, he didn't tell her directly. He wants her help without her asking questions. Then, after the investigation, she finds two things. Something like a map and the logo of a law firm. Lucifer realizes it's his mother's law firm, so he suspects her. After that, we understand that she drew this map. Lucifer's mother orchestrates the theft of the dagger to get God's attention. Lucifer investigates, finds the dagger, and keeps it at his place. Later, Lucifer's mother meets Dana and tells him, "You're so attractive, it's almost painful, Dandune." And they look at each other. Chloe is shown leaving a restaurant as usual when her car explodes. The person responsible for blowing it up is revealed to be Charlotte, Lucifer's mother. Before she can kill Chloe, Amenadiel arrives and tells her not to. She argues that Chloe is why Lucifer is attached to humans, and refuses to return to hell. Amenadiel insists that killing Chloe won't solve anything and reveals that Lucifer killed their brother Uriel to protect her. He warns that if she goes through with it, Lucifer will hate her forever, despite her desire for his love. Powerful. Anyway, never mind. Chloe leaves before Charlotte can kill her. A case emerges and Lucifer solves it with Chloe as usual. At the end of the day, Charlotte goes to her office and finds Amandel there. He tells her about something, that it was 35 years ago. His father, the god, sent him to Earth to bless a childless married couple. After receiving his blessing, a miracle occurs, and they are able to have children. And he says that today, he met the mother he blessed 35 years ago. Chloe's mother is revealed to have been with Lucifer's father, suggesting he orchestrated Chloe's birth and meeting with Lucifer. Lucifer discovers Dan was with his mother and beats him up. As Lucifer and Chloe are about to kiss, a woman enters and starts undressing. "Kareem, don't put that in the edit. Don't put it in the edit, Kareem. Don't include any undressing in the edit." Kareem, don't put what I just said, the last part. The last part, Kareem, don't put the undressing scene in the edit. She sends it to me privately as my fight with Lucifer continues. There are so many appointments that it's overwhelming. Chloe leaves when someone arrives, but as we enter, a person starts undressing. Good morning, basically. Then there's a case and they solve it and they're standing by the sea. Then there's a romantic moment at home where they kiss, and that's their first kiss together. The next day, there's another case. And the criminal uses a type of poison and the symptoms start to show when the victim gets a nosebleed. Then it leads to death, and then something emotional happens. In Lucifer, Lucifer's mother and Maze take him to a bar and show him an old photo on the wall, depicting Amandel and Chloe's mother, who are past customers. And when she tells him the truth that Chloe's father put her in his path, For Lucifer, that's manipulation of his life. So Lucifer goes to Chloe's house and finds her nose bleeding. And that means the poison reached her while she was chasing the criminal. And then Lucifer takes her to the hospital by car. And Chloe is very sick. And Lucifer gets the idea to go to hell by dying. And he talks to the doctor who made the poison to find out his whereabouts. So he learns that his mother entrusted it to him, Maze and Linda. So he tells them the idea, and they think it's crazy, but they agree in the end. Then Maze and Linda put on nurse uniforms. And to bring Lucifer back using the defibrillator, you might ask how they can kill Lucifer when he's so strong. Well, Chloe's in the same hospital as them, so she's close to Lucifer, which means he can be affected. So they use the defibrillator to bring him back, trying to revive him. In movies, when someone dies, nothing happens until the hero's lover intervenes, pleading for their return. Memories flash before the hero's eyes and they come back to life. Anyway, Lucifer gets ready and Amana is the one guarding. Amana is guarding Chloe and kills Lucifer. After Lucifer goes to hell, he sees Uriel and keeps getting tormented by the crime he committed against Uriel. And the scene keeps repeating over and over and over, and the scene keeps repeating again and again.
And
the scene keeps repeating again and again, honestly not because of her. And the scene keeps repeating again and again. And then they try to bring Lucifer back to life again, but he doesn't come back. Okay, restart it, try to bring him back again, but he still doesn't come back. At the same time, Chloe is dying, so he dies. Charlotte's relationship to Lucifer is unclear. The director and viewers died and Charlotte was killed. She enters hell to retrieve him, feeling like she's getting him from Uncle Muhammad downstairs, not fully understanding the situation, and attempts to bring him back. Meanwhile, Amandel stands firmly at the door of Chloe's hospital room, refusing to budge so the doctors can't take her away. Lucifer and his mother come back to life, and Lucifer has figured out the trick. Chloe has recovered and is perfectly fine. On that day, Chloe leaves the hospital and goes to Lucifer's house, only to find that he seems to have moved out and left the place. Lucifer disappears for 2 weeks, and Chloe works on investigations alone during that time. After 2 weeks, Lucifer returns with a woman. He claims she's his wife to prove he can alter his father's plan. They devise a plan, realizing they can return to heaven with her. The weapon, which is called the Flaming Sword, is something that can cut through anything. You know, this sword can do anything you can imagine. It slices through metal. The weapon works by bringing Azrael's sword together with several other pieces, and then they hold the sword with them. He informs them, but it's not flaming or functioning. In all these talks, she says only he can activate it when he's angry. Later, he sits with Linda, and she tells him that he needs to express his repressed feelings about his pain. When he reflects on his pain, the sword ignites. She encourages him to try harder, takes the sword from him, and gets hurt by it. Then Charlotte meets the criminal who had killed her, and he tries to kill her again. But when he stabs her with the dagger, her spiritual power comes out, and this power hits the guy's face and burns him. Amandel and Lucifer search through ancient texts, trying to uncover how to activate the sword, but find no user manual or instructions included with the weapon. Amandel then discovers that the sword needs 3 pieces to function properly. The items are Azrael's sword, the Medallion of Life, and the key, which is part of Amandel's necklace. I swear to God, that's exactly what occurred in the episode. Again, one day, Charlotte goes to Linda to close her wound instead of just walking around burning people. So Linda puts some medicine on it and everything turns out fine. Then Lucifer's mom and Amandel gather and he tells their mom that the idea of storming heaven is really stupid and they're not going to do it, and that they want to send her back to hell. But she grabs them, gives them a beating, and escapes. She goes to the amusement park, and there are kids and lots of people there. Not to mention that Chloe is also there. Lucifer gets threatened over the phone that she's going to blow herself up using the power inside her. She's going to unleash her hidden power, and she'll destroy everyone there. Lucifer, holding the sword, creates a rift in the universe, allowing her to go and create her own universe. God forgive me. This sword can cut through anything, to the point that it split reality itself. So he took her out of our reality so she could go and make her own reality. After Lucifer's mother departs, the original Charlotte, the lawyer, awakens with no memory of anyone, including Dan, who loved her. Meanwhile, Lucifer tells Chloe over the phone that he's done hiding and intends to reveal everything about his life to her honestly. Someone hits the man on the head and he awakens in the desert, with his wings restored. The story concludes with Lucifer in the desert, his wings returned to him. Anyway, he's lost, so he stops a car and gets in next to the driver with his wings out like it's nothing. He says, "Los Angeles, please, driver." And the driver finds him. It's a thief he had caught before, so he gets him out of the car, takes his clothes, and drives off with the car. The thief runs in the desert in his underwear like it's nothing, and the police stop the car, assuming that Lucifer is the thief. Then they take him back to Los Angeles again, and he comes back, takes a shower, and his face lights up. He goes to Linda and shows her his wings, showing her that they're back. He's showing everything. Linda, anything. You're really going through a lot, Linda. Honestly, no one can handle what you're dealing with this time. And he tells Linda to cut off his wings for the sake of Mezbara. And she started working on catching criminals. She started working as a marriage officiant. And of course, Linda refuses. She says, "Are you coming to refuse this out of mercy?" And she tells her, "Hey, I have nothing to do with these things. May God forgive me." She tells her, "Well, I have nothing to do with it. I'm just a character in the series. That's how the series goes. I'm just telling the story. I have nothing to do with any delay. I'm just narrating the series, that's all. May God be my witness and protector." So she thinks that his father is the one who kidnapped him. But he explains to her that it's not him, and he takes her to the place where he himself woke up in the desert, so they can look for any evidence there. He finds a dead body, and the police investigate. Lucifer believes the killer is his kidnapper, and they return to his name. We meet the new officer, whose name is Marcus Bryce, and we see his interesting personality and that he is very arrogant and conceited. In the morning, what about them and Lucifer? And no one at the station even cares, and then Amanadil comes and says, "Lucifer, where have you been, boy?" He searched for the boy everywhere, worried. They spoke and he discovered their mother had left, upsetting Amanadil. After a lengthy investigation, the killer is found. Lucifer becomes furious, believing he's the kidnapper, but it's revealed the man was set up to commit the crime. Lucifer, also known as Sinnerman, unrelated to Superman, asks where to find Sinnerman. The reply, "He's the one who will find you." The detective comes in and arrests the criminal. Then Lucifer and Amenadiel sit together, and we find out that Amenadiel's wings still aren't working. It's unbelievable. Lucifer's wings are working, but Amenadiel's aren't. Look at that. Glory be to God. We also learn that Lucifer no longer has his devil face, that he used to show people. The next day, he goes to Linda and tells her that he cut them off. She says, "Oh my God, what did you do?" He replies, "What is it, lady? They're just my wings. What's the big deal?" Then he goes to the detective and tells her that they should investigate this Sinnerman issue. Bryce steps in when he hears the name Sinnerman and asks about it. But they refuse to tell him anything, as Chloe was convinced about the name Sinnerman. It's a name that criminals use to make excuses for their actions, and they say that Sinnerman is the reason for what they've done. And she tells Lucifer, "If you can bring me proof that this person actually exists, I'll be the first one to investigate this case." On that day, a strong attraction develops between Linda and Amenadiel, but he denies it to her. "You're here because of his outfit." That same day, Lucifer is visited by Detective Pierce, who warns him about Sinnerman, a dangerous criminal Pierce faced in Chicago, who killed someone close to him. Pierce emphasizes that Sinnerman is not just a myth. We skip episodes 3 and 4 due to lack of events and move on to episode 5. Charlotte returns as a regular lawyer, no longer as Lucifer's mother. She doesn't follow him like before. When Lucifer sees her, he asks why she has changed and is acting like she doesn't know or remember him. "What were we to each other?" he starts to shout. We skip episodes 3, 7, and 8 as they don't have important events. In episode 9, Charlotte quits her law job and starts working at the police station. A case arises involving a suspect named Sinnerman. Bryce wants to arrest Sinnerman to avenge his brother's murder. After a confrontation, Sinnerman is arrested. Lucifer interrogates Sinnerman, only to find that he had gouged out his own eyes to prevent Lucifer from using his power to uncover his desires. The following day, they attempt to interrogate him again, but he continues to say mysterious things. Chloe checks his ringing phone and discovers a message. It's a video of a girl trapped in a water tank. This is something that Sinnerman did to blackmail the police, and then he tells them that the only way for her to survive is for him to take them to her. Then they figured out that he had a partner working with him from the outside, and if they found this partner, they would reach the girl and save her. They managed to find her and rescue her, but Sinnerman escapes, and his partner was nearby. But then, they discover that the one who took him was Lucifer. What? Lucifer is his partner? Actually, no. He took him outside to do what he wanted with him and mocked him. That's it. He began drawing comical eyes on the screen before him, ridiculing, shaming, and interrogating him about his actions and methods. Maze arrives to torment him, refusing to speak and provoking him continuously. As Lucifer was about to kill Sinnerman, he realizes that it's what Sinnerman wants. Sinnerman tells Lucifer, "You have to kill me if you remember, kill me," stating that this is his desire. That if he had looked into his eyes, he would have known this. And Lucifer keeps asking him, "Why do you want me to kill you?" Bryce interrupts and kills Sinnerman before Lucifer learns the reason. Furious, Lucifer summons Bryce to his house and confronts him upon arrival. "We both agree that Sinnerman had a partner, so what if Sinnerman was working for someone else?" and he shows a picture of Cinnamon when he was young. Someone puts their arm around him, revealing a tattoo. Lucifer remarks to Bryce, "That tattoo looks a lot like yours." And he tells him that logically, the man with that tattoo on his arm should be very old by now. 3 lemons for 20 pounds. These prices are insane. Lemon prices have soared. People's feelings have changed these days. No one cares for a lemon anymore, not even me. You can go. And he tells him logically that this tattooed bald man should be very old by now. Unless he was Khaled. No, Khaled never died. It is said that Lucifer pulls out a knife and kills Bryce, which seems like a crazy and shocking act. He sits there drinking whiskey like nothing happened, and finds Bryce still alive, pulling the knife out of his chest like it's nothing. He says to Lucifer, "Oh, how did I not notice that?" Cain, the world's first murderer, marked by God and doomed to wander the earth alone forever. And of course, that's who's going to be the partner in Cinnamon, right? Isn't that so, Cain? Oh my God, guys, there is no God but Allah. I swear, guys. I'm not involved in what's happening here. I'm only here to discuss the movie and the series, nothing more. I have no connection to this blasphemy or whatever this is. I swear, no, there is no God but Allah. Muhammad is the messenger of Allah, I swear on my eyes. And we continue this story, but the story's a bit long, so go make yourself a drink or get a shisha, relax, and come back to watch as we continue the story. After discovering Bryce was from the tribe, we see Lucifer with him. Lucifer says, "Though immortal, you bleed fresh blood. These are infidel people." Bryce replies, "I'm immortal, but human first and feel pain without dying." Lucifer says, "You took my demonic face and returned my wings. You criminal, confess, you criminal." But Bryce says to him, "I have nothing to do with what happened, by the way. And all he did was let Cinnamon kidnap him. Then he leaves, and there's a case." Lucifer goes to Chloe and says he needs her help. But she's upset with him and walks away because of what he did in the Sinnerman case. He kidnapped the person under initial investigation. Then Lucifer goes to Linda and tells her everything that happened, including the conversation about Pierce being Cain and Linda. She's surprised and says there's nothing in the way. He returns to the station. Chloe discovers Pierce packing his belongings as he prepares to transfer. During the investigation, Lucifer assists Chloe. He acted completely selflessly, repeatedly apologizing to her, behaving sentimentally and strangely. Lucifer once approached Pierce and used his power to ask him, "What do you want?" So he tells him that he wants to die. Honestly, we all want to die, just so we're clear. What happened and why did it happen? Pierce, who is actually Cain, has existed since Earth's creation and is cursed with immortality. I have nothing to do with it, that's just what happens in the series. So he wants to die. He knows Lucifer becomes weak around Chloe, so he works with her to push Lucifer away and get closer to Chloe himself. This would make Lucifer weak and able to die, but he still doesn't die and Chloe can't hurt him. At night, Ahmad and Linda are seen together in a restaurant, while Maze watches them, feeling angry and jealous. Bryce is also seen leaving the station. He gets on his motorcycle to leave the place completely, but Lucifer comes to him and says, "I'm here to tell you that he knows why he got his wings back." And what happened is that Lucifer's father wanted to stop Bryce from breaking the laws of nature by making Lucifer give him his wings. He goes back in time to stop everything, especially Bryce. Lucifer seeks revenge on his father. By rebelling and going against his will, he kills Bryce and makes an agreement with him about that. And the next day, we see Lucifer trying to kill Bryce in every possible way. And Bryce tells Lucifer that he has tried everything, from the beginning until he jumped into a volcano. It's incomprehensible how he survived. They think he's alive inside the volcano, but how did he escape? Only God knows in this world of unbelievers. He decides to use Maze's knives, which are made in hell, but they still don't work. So what can they do with this guy? Then Lucifer brings Maze and has her think of all the possible ways. And then at the station, there's Chloe. Charlotte is surprised that Bryce stayed. That day, Dan confesses his feelings for her, revealing that he's following the principle of the body, not personality. The next day, Lucifer goes to Bryce and tells him to take off his clothes. Bryce responds, "Excuse me." Lucifer explains that if they understand the meaning of the tattoo on his body, they'll understand the way he was killed. Then Bryce responds to him. He claims to know all languages and has tried everything, but still can't decipher the meaning. Bryce periodically removes the tattoo before getting it again. Bryce meets Amandel, telling him he came to talk. Bryce suggests God chose his favorite son to place the curse. "Guys, since you put it on, you should know how to remove it." But Amandel doesn't care about the way, and we find out that Amandel is the one who came down, put the curse on Bryce, or put it on Bryce, whichever is closer, and they start fighting each other and making a mess out of each other. And Lucifer returns to Barbie Limit with a goal, and Amandel tells Lucifer that he was the one who put the curse on Bryce, And then we see that Lucifer comes to him, a dream where Chloe saw his wings and got scared, fell off the building and died because of him, and he goes to tell Linda about the dream. On that day, Maze confronts Linda and Amenadiel about their relationship, which she is aware of. What's this? You're coming really late, you guys. This is all games, acrobatics, undressing, and strange things. Lucifer gets the idea that he can fix what happened between Cain and Abel, thus preventing Cain from committing a crime and being cursed. He decides to go to hell to retrieve Abel's soul. After returning, he goes to the hospital to choose a recently deceased body, implying Abel is no longer dead. A new vessel for Abel's soul, which he retrieves and delivers. He ends up in the soul of the girl next door, and by the time he realizes it, Abel has left. They lose each other. For disbelief or atheism, consult the atheist company behind the series. On that day, Charlotte tells Linda that she feels like someone else was living in her body and has blurry memories. And Abel keeps flirting with girls, not realizing that he's a priest in a girl's body. I don't even get how he can't tell the difference. And Amenadiel tells him to restrain himself so he doesn't fall into Lucifer's trap. Bryce informs Maze, who agrees to join them. During their conversation, Habel enters and shoots Bryce, Kabil, with fire, but Bryce is unharmed. Lucifer then makes a decision. He tells Bryce he's abandoning the idea of assisting his death. Later, while Habil is walking at night, a car suddenly hits him. And then, one time after Lucifer's case, he finds Chloe's party invite and asks when they're going. She says she's going with Bryce, which he sees happen. Upset, he says he'll go alone. Later, it's revealed something is going on between Chloe and Bryce. Lucifer reveals everything to Charlotte, including his wings. Fearing hell, Charlotte attempts to do good and stop lying entirely. Bryce and Chloe's relationship developed significantly, and they became a couple. This does not refer to me, Moe. Lucifer, angry and drinking, confronts Chloe, insisting that Bryce is Cain. Later, Lucifer attacks Bryce, revealing that Bryce and Chloe are now together. Bryce thought that loving her like Lucifer would make him weak, leading to repeated beatings from Lucifer during confrontations. The mark on Bryce's arm vanishes completely, seemingly because of Chloe's love. However, Bryce doesn't take his own life. Instead, he confesses his love to Chloe, but she rejects him. He said no, so how did the mark disappear then? He declined, then invited her to his house for dinner. She accepted because of the food, but would have refused if it was just to see him. She wouldn't visit just for him, but for food, sure. Doesn't she fear God? At the same time, Lucifer asks her to come over, so she goes. When she gets there, she feels like they're looking down on her, so she feels cheap, you know? So she leaves them and walks out. Lucifer then asks Linda for her opinion about what he's doing, and she tells him that he should confess his love to her. Bryce proposes to her when she returns home, and she accepts. Meanwhile, Lucifer's outside planning to do the same. Linda saw and witnessed all of this, and then Dan asks Charlotte to marry him, and she agrees. At the end of the day, Charlotte is sitting with Amenadiel, telling him that she's afraid she'll go to hell. Suddenly, someone from afar shoots at Amenadiel, but Charlotte takes the bullet for him. We see that the person who killed her is Bryce, and Charlotte dies in Amandel's arms. Amenadiel regains his power and wings, and he flies with Charlotte to heaven. Astaghfirullah, aren't we ever gonna stop? How many seasons are left? No, wait, there are 2 seasons left. But he flies with her soul. Her body remains on the ground as she speaks with Lucifer and Chloe, sharing a romantic moment as they gaze at each other. He gives them a phone and tells them about Charlotte's situation, ruining the moment. And they go and find Charlotte's body because he truly loves her from his heart. And Lucifer finds a feather on the ground. He realizes Amenadiel's involvement and investigates. Pierce enters, feigning ignorance, and questions them normally. Pierce suggests to Lucifer that Amenadiel might be the killer, and we see Dan at his house, devastated by Charlotte's loss, and he's really broken. And we see Dan at his house, devastated by Charlotte's loss. He finds papers Charlotte was investigating, figures out what happened, and goes to the station. Dan tells Lucifer and Chloe that Bryce is the killer, known as the Sinner Man. Charlotte was investigating Bryce, and he killed her for uncovering his identity. Bryce then arrives on the scene, and he keeps telling the officers that he's sad about Charlotte, and that he has to get justice for her. He acts very emotional, but Chloe notices that Bryce normally doesn't get emotional. She realized Bryce was lying, and the police were right to investigate him. It's revealed that Bryce hired someone to kill Dan, but Bryce gets arrested. Lucifer confronts Bryce, revealing he knows Bryce killed Charlotte, and asks him to explain why he did it, addressing him as son. Come on, tell me, son. But he denies it. Shame on you, Bryce. You're like a cat that eats and denies it. He threatens Lucifer and says that he meant to kill Amana, that it was revenge against God by killing his favorite son. Bryce escapes from Lucifer but is caught by his former colleague who arrested him. The colleague interrogates Bryce and nearly kills him. but Bryce reveals his location to save himself. Lucifer and Chloe go there and find Bryce with his gang. Bryce shoots at Chloe, angering Lucifer, who opens his wings in an epic scene. Lucifer opening his wings is the crucial aspect. They keep shooting while he's dodging the bullets, then he flies with Chloe and puts her somewhere safe. He goes back and takes them down one by one. Chloe doesn't die because she was wearing a bulletproof vest. There's a fight that ends with Lucifer finally killing Bryce. Finally. While he's talking to Bryce, Lucifer's devil face appears, and Chloe comes from behind and sees Lucifer's face for the first time. She realizes he wasn't lying to her, and that he really is the devil. The story continues from the previous events. If you haven't seen those, you likely haven't watched the show. Anyway, we see your guy Lucifer in his nightclub, singing and feeling really sad about Chloe. Suddenly, some people show up and pull guns on him. And we realize that this guy is the same one whose car Lucifer took. He actually stole it and left him in the desert in the previous episode. So your guy Lucifer grabs the man and lifts him up in the air. In a bizarre turn of events, the gang opens fire on Lucifer, but he remains unharmed. Lucifer is visibly distressed because Chloe fled Los Angeles after witnessing his true form. The key point is that he's directing all his anger towards them, having turned into a bad person. And we see Mazikeen come to him and tell him, "If you want us to look for her, just say the word, and I'll do it, boss." But he tells her that Chloe's afraid of him, and that she doesn't even want to find him. Dan is shown at a crime scene, visibly depressed following Charlotte's death. Lucifer also arrives at the scene, and suddenly Chloe appears out of nowhere, just like that. What's with this sudden appearance? And suddenly Chloe appears out of nowhere, and she talks to Ella and asks her about the victim, while Lucifer just stands there stunned, like what's going on? And Chloe is completely ignoring him. Lucifer approaches her and asks, "Where have you been?" as if he doesn't exist. She informs him about her Europe trip with her daughter. Later, Lucifer shares the events with Linda. He then reveals his true identity as the devil to Ella, who assumes he's joking and laughs it off. Meanwhile, Chloe, aware of Mazikeen's demonic nature, is frightened by her presence. Mazikeen, tough by nature, inquires about Trixie, but Chloe dodges the question as she wants to keep Mazikeen away from her daughter. We see Lucifer at his house, and Amenadiel comes to him for the first time since the last time. We see Lucifer at his house, and Amenadiel comes to him for the first time. After, when he took Charlotte and went up to heaven with her, we see that Uncle Amenadiel is fine now. He got his wings back, and he's doing great. Even his beard looks more mature now, and Amenadiel finds out. Chloe discovered the truth about them, and Lucifer continues working with her on the case. When he touches her shoulder, she gets startled. Lucifer then approaches Dan, who is already in a bad mood. He asks him what it means when a woman doesn't like being touched in that way. Dan tells him that if they can smell his sweat, it probably means she hates him. Then we see Mazikeen with Linda, and they're fighting over Amanda. Imagine two women fighting over Amanda, and I can't even get anyone to notice me. And then at the end of the day, they find out who the criminal is. Lucifer keeps holding his car so he can't escape, and he gets arrested while he's going to Amanda. Dan, in tears, tells him Charlotte is in heaven. The scene shifts to Chloe and Lucifer. They discuss her witnessing his devil face. She accepts him, holds his hand, and affirms their partnership. Finally, it concludes. Chloe is seen crying in a church. A priest sits beside her saying, "What you're doing is for everyone's good." He asks if she's ready for the next step. She tells him, "Ready? Let's go, my son." We understand that Chloe was shocked by what she saw. She went to the church and met Father Kinley, and she found out that he is the leader of a group called the Exorcists, and he's also the priest. Aware that Lucifer is the devil, he attempts to make a deal with Chloe, who is close to Lucifer, to assist them in killing him. And since Chloe was shocked by what happened between her and Lucifer, Father Kinley finds out. Father Kinley easily convinces her that Lucifer's presence on Earth spreads evil. She agrees. Lucifer and Chloe work a case, and he invites her to dinner. Later, Chloe meets with Father Kinley. He gives her a bottle of poison that she can use to kill Lucifer, but Chloe refuses. He keeps telling her that every time Lucifer visits Earth, disasters happen, and that he is the cause of these things, like what happened to her, for example, and so on. Chloe tells him, "That's not the person I know," but he keeps trying to convince her and gives her the bottle. Then we go back to the meeting that Lucifer and Chloe agreed on. He tells her that there are no more secrets between them, and she now knows everything about him. Lucifer plays music while Chloe attempts to poison his drink, but accidentally drops and breaks the glass. As he picks up the shards, he cuts himself, and she questions why he's bleeding. And is he weak around her? Yeah, nobody knows. She keeps talking a lot while she's crying, and she doesn't even understand what's happening to her. Honestly, girl, neither do we. And Chloe gets a call about a criminal, so she and Lucifer go. And Lucifer gets hurt, but Chloe is far away. He tells her that he's only weak when she's near him. And we see a Amenadiel at the nightclub. and Linda comes to him and tells him that she's pregnant by him. So now he's going to be a father. Oh my God, what a shock. The next day, we see Chloe with Father Kinley, and she tells him that she won't help him. In the middle of the conversation, she tells him that she makes Lucifer weak. Then we see Lucifer at his house, and Chloe sends him a message saying she's sorry and inviting him to another date. So your sister comes out, and the person in the house turns out to be Father Kinley. He tells him there's something he needs to know about Chloe Decker, and says that he's an investigator from the Vatican. He tells him that the detective wants to kill him, and that she went to Rome. She revealed her knowledge of the devil to him and her intention to kill him. Lucifer claimed to have come to warn her, but she didn't believe him. Father Kinley departed, leaving Lucifer as he was. Later, Father Kinley informed Lucifer about the poison bottle. Lucifer then confronted Chloe, found the bottle in her bag, and questioned her about it. She tells him, "It's lemon juice." He says to her, "Really, or are you trying to poison me?" Anyway, he tells her that he knows everything and that he knows she took a risk to try to kill him. Meanwhile, Dana calls Chloe about a new case. She approaches him, then Lucifer enters and locks the door, preventing Chloe from entering. Lucifer does as he pleases with the criminal, threatening to hit him and repeatedly asking, "Don't you want me to show you my real face?" The criminal challenges Lucifer, saying he's not afraid. Lucifer realizes the criminal seeks punishment, so he leaves him be. And Chloe comes in through the other door, so the criminal says, "Forgive me, God, I was wrong." And then he tries to kill himself right there. Lucifer breaks the mirror and realizes that there was someone behind the mirror watching everything that was happening. And he finds out that the church owns this place. Father Kelly was waiting to reveal Lucifer's true face so he could have proof. And Chloe tells Lucifer about Kelly and tries to justify it to him. Then Chloe goes to meet Kelly. She arrests him on charges of gambling in a murder case. Then we see Linda in the hospital. Amenadiel proposes to her, but she refuses, believing he's doing it for the wrong reasons. She questions the timing and seriousness of the proposal. Of course, Mal. She tells him that all she needs is for someone to hold her hand and everything will be just fine. That's it. Then we see Chloe going to Lucifer and apologizing to him, trying to explain herself, saying she's sorry and all that. He asks her how she could do all that, and she tells him it was because she was scared. She says that when she came back, she thought things over by herself. She realized that he's not a bad person and that he can change. He shows her his face and asks her if she can accept him like this. She tells him she doesn't know, so he says, "That's it, now I know the answer." And then we see him in prison where one of his students comes to visit him. He mentions a prophecy that states, when the devil descends to earth and finds his first love, evil will spread everywhere. This is your Uncle Muhammad the follower's prophecy. The devil loved, but I did not. And then we see Malha, one of the heroes, ordering apple tea in a bold way, saying, "You're the apple." We see him drunk, and he sees this girl dancing there, so he goes to her. When he sees her, he freezes and says to her, "Hawa."
Oh my God, what kind of blasphemy is this? What kind of blasphemy is this?
If they see season 5, they'll freak out.
What, anyway?
Hawa escapes from paradise to earth. Lucifer asks about Adam and Batten. She claims she came to see Luffy and Lucy, her sweetheart. Oh, the drama. Look, everyone, what's her English name in the show? Normally, it's Eve, so we'll say Eve. Okay, that's just my feeling, and when I say that, I think Eve was better. Eve was better. I mean, try to listen to her. Anyway, your Uncle Lucifer books Eve a room at the hotel and puts her in the car, but the driver tells her, "Give me the necklace or I'll kill your friend." Then he hits Lucifer in the face with the car, hits Lucifer in the face and drives off, but Lucifer is okay, and nothing happened, and Lucifer tries to understand from Eve what happened. He asks her about the necklace, and she tells him the only one she remembers is Pablo's. Marwan, Pablo isn't Marwan. Pablo isn't that one. Where is he? Lucifer asks her about Pablo, who gave her a ride on the plane and the necklace, telling her it belongs to the Arab man. Lucifer knows Bashrif Fassad and says he'll go to Bashrif's house to have a conversation with him. Chloe and Dan investigate a case, and Lucifer arrives with Eve. They try to keep Eve uninvolved to retrieve a necklace, which is missing. Lucifer and Chloe solve the case, leading to the man's arrest, and Eve is seen. She tells Lucifer that she loves him and that she came down just for him. He shows her his face, and she tells him again that she loves him. Chloe walks in after seeing them together, a bit annoyed that Eve has won him over. Eve stays at his place, and later Chloe comes to him and says she wants them to work together again. She hears Eve's voice and apologizes for the disturbance, then leaves. Lucifer offers to help Chloe with the case, and they investigate together. The following day, during another case, Lucifer pursues a criminal who manages to escape and kills a policewoman. The next day, Lucifer is told by someone that another person died because of him. After Charlotte tells him he's not a good person, Lucifer leaves. Eve convinces the depressed caller that he's the devil and should torture him. He reaches the caller, reveals his true face, and tortures him with Eve's help. And we see that an angel has come down to Earth, who is actually Lucifer and Amenadiel's sister. And she came down to take Amenadiel's son, who hasn't even been born yet. As Amenadiel's son, it's assumed the child will be an angel, not Marwan Pablo, and should be raised in heaven with the other angels. God forgive me for saying this. And a fight happens between Amenadiel and his sister, so she doesn't take his son. And we see Father Kinley. Chloe comes to him, and she says she came to tell him to stop contacting her. She requested to meet him, and he reveals the prophecy. When the devil arrives on Earth and finds his first love, evil will spread everywhere. However, evil has already spread. Lucifer realizes he misinterpreted the prophecy, which is actually about Eve, not Chloe. He confides in Linda, expressing his desire not to become a monster. She asks her son what's wrong and sees his wings have turned demonic. Chloe then talks to Lucifer about the prophecy, so he concludes that if he ends his relationship with Eve, the prophecy won't happen. He goes to tell Eve this, but she gets happy because she thinks that means he loves her. First, are you kidding me? No, are you kidding me? Wow, she's incredibly attractive. What? Anyway, he tells her that they have to break up, but Eve tells him that she will never leave him. She loves him, but he ultimately tells her that he doesn't want to be with her and dislikes himself when they're together. I never loved you and I never loved her. No, I did love her, but that's enough denial. And then we see Eve going to cry to Maze, telling her that she left her boyfriend and all that. And she decides to work with Maze to catch criminals. While talking to Chloe, Lucifer notices his hand turning into a devil's hand, indicating he's reverting to his true form. He seeks Linda's help, who suggests it's because he started hating himself and needs to find out why. Later, Lucifer's eye also turns into a devil's eye. He continues wearing sunglasses, and Chloe gives him a mask for a masquerade party at the club. It's revealed that Father Kinley escaped, but was kidnapped by Mazikeen and Eve. The scene returns to the club, and we see that Lucifer's power is affecting everyone on its own. People started mentioning things they forgot, thankfully without my presence. Lucifer, now fully transformed into his devil form, returns to his house. Linda reports a normal birth, without any angelic or winged characteristics. The focus then shifts to Kinley and Eve, where he informs her of his singular location. You and Lucifer can reunite in hell, your original home as his children. Crucially, he offers to help send Lucifer back to hell, but in return, she must go with him. After being untied, he attacks her, attempting to strangle her. She defends herself by stabbing a wooden stick into his neck, killing him. The scene then shifts to a fully demonic Lucifer, and he tells Chloe that he hates himself so much because he hurts anyone close to him. But Chloe tells him, forgive yourself, and his appearance will return to normal. It's that simple. Once you understand and forgive yourself, I'm forgiven, and my appearance is back to normal. It's really that simple. Crucially, when Lucifer is content that the prophecy will fail, he later receives a peculiar visitor at the bar. Father Kelly, believed to be dead, is greeted by his followers, revealing he is actually the devil who came to Earth in Father Kelly's body. I don't know where else we're going in this mess, and he tells him, I'm here, man, to help you. But Lucifer tells him to go back, because if he stays, he'll hurt a lot of people. I mean, seriously, this is the one who's going to hurt a lot of people? You're the devil on Earth and you won't hurt people? Seriously, that's the greatest irony. I mean, come on, Malika came down and Kabil too. What's going on here? Even the dog ended up with the poor guy. I mean, he's the devil. Why would he be the one to ruin everything? I mean, sorry, Uncle Shaitan. We're sorry for you, really. Linda's son and Amanadel are kidnapped by Shay Shay. It's revealed that the kidnapper is actually the devil possessing Kelly, Linda's son's father. Many devils have come to Earth. The devil declares Lucifer unnecessary and plans to take Charlie to hell, making him their king as he grows up, since he's an angel. They intend to shape him into the king they desire. Lucifer and Mandel arrive to confront the devils. Many devils descend to Earth, revealing it's all. So you're okay. I'm sorry, Ahmed. I thought you meant they were coming down to Earth, that they were piling up. I'm sorry, I misunderstood. Lucifer arrives with Mandel to the devils, and a confrontation happens between all of them. A lot of devils come down to Earth, and Lucifer's prophecy comes true, and it turns out that everyone is going to die. But suddenly, Lucifer transforms into his demonic form, and he asks all of them to bow to him. Not just as a formality, but to truly bow to him. And he orders all of them to return to hell. And then her son Mandel comes back, and we see Lucifer with Chloe, and he tells her that he loves her, and they kiss. Lucky guy. And that Chloe is his first love, and the one the prophecy was about. Lucifer returns to hell to maintain control, bidding farewell to her. Back on his throne, he is greeted with relief. In a conversation, Lucifer's told, "Someone is going to walk through that door right now and kill you," which comes to pass. This person, actually dead, is forced to relive the moment of his death repeatedly as eternal punishment. The scene then shifts to events on Earth. Your Aunt Chloe, Ella, and Mazikeen are working a case. Do you know your Aunt Maze? She worked with Chloe since Lucifer left and went to hell. Honestly, Chloe almost never works with anyone except weirdos. It's hard to understand what's going on. And while Lucifer, while talking to the criminal before his execution, he learns that he died in Los Angeles. This suggests Chloe is likely investigating his death. So he remembers the days when they were a team. The protagonist decides to help solve his own murder case. He begins investigating, and we see Amandel, now running Lucifer's nightclub. Amandel's son is 2 months old, looking healthy and chubby. And as for Charlie, his mother Linda thinks he's special, and she keeps teaching him sciences and things like that because he's the son of a great angel. I mean, Lucifer and Chloe are simultaneously investigating the same case. Chloe reaches a location connected to the case where she encounters criminals, leading to a shootout between them. And right before your Aunt Chloe dies, she hears someone coming into the place, and it's Lucifer, and he helps Chloe. And as soon as Chloe sees him, she gives him a kiss. Man, what a kiss. I wish it was me, man, come on, no. And after she gives him that kiss, unfortunately, she says, "You feel different." He explains that while only 2 months passed for her, time moves much slower in hell, so thousands of years have passed for him. I mean, Lucifer, my brother. But we see that at the same time, Lucifer's with a criminal in hell. So we realize that the one with Chloe isn't the real Lucifer. All right, Mr. Amin. And the next day we see Lucifer, or the one impersonating him, acting silly in front of the mirror and practicing how to imitate the real Lucifer. And while Chloe is at the crime scene, Lucifer comes to her, and she's really upset with him. Chloe thinks he was in Florida, and Lucifer says he really was there and lies, which is the first time Lucifer has lied to her. Lucifer, known for not lying, is accused of lying. Humans lie, but the devil, God forgive, doesn't fear God. The impersonator of Lucifer is investigated until he goes home, revealing an injury on his left shoulder. He kind of looks like Osama Munir. Osama Munir, is that the name? Mohammed Munir or Osama Munir? No, I mean Mohammed Munir. Suddenly, your Aunt Mazikeen attacks him, who's named Osama. They mistook him for Lucifer, and she's hitting him for leaving her alone when he went to hell, as Maze can't fly back. He clarifies that he's actually Lucifer's brother, the twin Michael. He reveals his black wings to Mazikeen, proving he's not Lucifer. Lucifer has white wings, indicating he is the king, while his wings are black. Good morning. Upon learning that Lucifer returned to hell, Michael declared he would replace him. He tells Mazikeen he wants the watch to lure Lucifer back to Earth so she can confront him, as she's angry with Lucifer. He continues the case with Aunt Chloe, and they nearly get run over by the suspect's car. But Michael opens his wings and Chloe is hit. The next night, he invites Chloe over, but she sees him with Maze in a compromising situation and runs to him. He makes it up to her with a few words, calms her down, and they reconcile. Like, you're just acting normal, Sonny, totally normal, man. And the next day, he goes to work with Chloe. He tried to use the magic with his eyes, but it didn't work like Lucifer, and he asked, like, what is it? What's your shortest desire? Or what's your deepest desire? And he asked him a different question. He said, what are you afraid of? Chloe notices that Lucifer is different and has supernatural powers. Maze tells Michael that he knows people's desires, not their fears. She also says that he made promises to Chloe, hurt her, and that it's not right. He says it while she's unconscious and your Aunt Chloe arrives. Then romantic moments start happening between them. Suddenly she shoots Michael in the leg with a gun. When he doesn't bleed, she realizes he's not Lucifer, who is vulnerable near her, bleeds, and could die. She learns from him that he's Michael, Lucifer's brother. Michael insists that their father created her solely to place her in Lucifer's path, and that she's merely a puppet. Michael then sits under God. Amandel realizes that Michael saw through his act and tells him, you know, Lucifer is actually better than you. Oh, of course, of course. Of course, of course. And we see how much Michael is jealous of Lucifer. And your Uncle Amandil kicks him out of the place after he threatened to hurt his son. Then your Uncle Amandil goes to hell to see Lucifer. And we see that in hell, they've got some really nice tiles. Wow, how much do those tiles cost? Anyway, Amandil informs Lucifer about his return to Earth and recounts the events that transpired, mentioning his own reappearance. After Lucifer discovers what occurred, he departs hell and instructs Amandil, watch over the place. Lucifer approaches Chloe and reveals his true identity, but she remains skeptical. To prove himself, he uses his powers on a nearby policewoman, convincing Chloe that he is indeed the real Lucifer. So right away, of course, she comes and hugs him. Lucifer works with Chloe on the case until he leaves. Maze greets him and beats him up, despite him trying to calm her down by saying, "Hey, it's me, Lucifer, not Michael." She hits him more, saying, "Good morning, I've always wanted to beat up Lucifer anyway." After the beating from Maze, he returns to work on the case with Chloe until he leaves again. He finds Michael there, and the two of them spread their wings and start fighting each other. Then Lucifer grabs a knife that was hidden as a joke and uses it to cut Michael's face, leaving a mark so people can tell him apart from Lucifer. Then, as usual, they begin investigating and solving a new case. Thankfully, it was the typical routine. So, on the last day, Lucifer comes home and feels sad during a romantic moment between them, and they kiss, but someone interrupts them. It's Uncle Charlie, who is Amenadiel's son, and he just won't be quiet and go to sleep. However, he falls asleep upon seeing Lucifer's devil face, which comforts Dan, who watches from afar. The child is frightened by Lucifer's face, grabs his blanket, and runs away. It's difficult to comprehend the meaning behind the child falling asleep to such an image. What does it mean that he likes it? Lucifer's devil face is making him laugh. What is this, guys? He acts like Lucifer, becoming enchanted and questioning his involvement, asking himself what he's getting into again, and expressing disbelief to others about the situation. And he's surprised that Chloe has his magic, so he goes to Linda and tells her that Chloe now has his magic. He tells her that this happened after he got involved with her. So he's wondering if this magic gets transferred when you get involved or what. So she tells him that maybe he passed on the magic after what he did. So he tells her that maybe he did, between the other magic. And everyone who gets involved with him, and he looks at her like that and says, "Are you the magic?" He said, "Since I got involved with you, will it happen to me 100 times? He tells him, "How can I forget? It's been 200 times, man. This series is important, Uncle, seriously." While Chloe and Lucifer are working on the case, Chloe asks the suspect what he desires. And indeed, Lucifer's magic works. And your Uncle Dan is at the grave of Charlotte, and he's crying in front of her. But at the same time, he's happy, since Charlotte is really in heaven. Since Amenadiel turned out to be a real angel, and he knows his life, that means Charlotte is truly in heaven. He wasn't lying. He's terrified he might not deserve heaven and fears for himself, Chloe, and his daughter. Michael swoops down on him with wings, answering his prayers. Initially mistaking him for Lucifer, the man learns it's the Archangel Michael, who offers to get him into heaven, if they help him with something like that. When God became God, I told you, forget about this terrible season. I told you, forget about season 5. Where is our master, the 5th from God? Where's Lucifer season 5? Where is it? I don't know what it is, but you seem to like it. Oh God, that's enough. At the end of the day, he goes to Lucifer's house and shoots him while Chloe is present. Lucifer survives, revealing an abnormal situation, and is furious with Chloe, who ran to him after the shooting. She's protecting Lucifer, who to him is evil since he's the devil. But actually, he's a very cute devil, just so you know. After that, Lucifer gets up without anything happening to him. And he's surprised that he doesn't die, even when he's close to Chloe. He goes and they finish the investigation, then he goes back home and acts childish. He tries to come up with a revenge plan against Dan since Dan shot him. That's it. Lucifer's Aunt Chloe calls him, and during the call, he hears a scream. At her house, he finds a mess and realizes Chloe has been kidnapped. With Ella's help, he investigates. Meanwhile, Michael is revealed to be Chloe's captor. Lucifer tasks Maze with bringing Dan and tries to convince him that being a demon is no big deal. He even enlists Dan's help to find Chloe's location. Dan recounts to him the conversation when Michael appeared and forced him to kill Lucifer. Dan mentions that Michael led him to a cave to talk, so he attempts to recall the cave's location and successfully pinpoints it. When Michael arrives, Maze greets him and almost hits him for kidnapping Chloe, but he persuades her they're close to executing their plan. Meanwhile, Chloe's at the police station with Lucifer and Amandil. She thanks them for saving her. Lucifer and Chloe talk privately, but before he can confess his love, he finds her frozen. Time has stopped everywhere, caused by Amandil. Lucifer goes to Amandel, who admits he stopped time but can't restart it. And that's because he was scared when he found out his son is just a normal human, will grow old and die, and that he's not an angel. So when he got scared, time stopped. Michael arrives and a fight breaks out. He grabs Amandel's son's basket and Maze joins him as he promised her a soul, which demons lack. Maze's desire for a soul is questionable, given her demonic nature. Anyway, they all keep fighting and arguing with each other until suddenly a light appears from afar, and they all look at it. We see that a completely unexpected person has arrived, their father. You know who he is, right? This annoying guy. Honestly, I have nothing to do with him. Let's just call him Al-Hajj. And Al-Hajj tells them, "Kids, stop fighting. Seriously, what's going on?" That's Al-Had. All of that is Al-Had. That's what's important. When he sees his grandson, your cousin Amandel, time goes back to when he was standing there. It's time itself. And when Lucifer goes to his Malha, which belongs to him, and your Aunt Cloyo follows him, asking him about what happened at the police station when time stopped for them. Remember that with me. Uncle Elhag and Lucifer. Lucifer was just about to tell her that he loves her before. Amandel stops time, fearing for his son. At Amandel's house, Linda, the mother of his child but not his wife, is present. But they're not married. Because, that's just how things are in this world. Anyway, she's amazed by her father-in-law. Of course, she has to be amazed. Yeah, anyway. In a case from Lucifer's past, his father unexpectedly appears at a crime scene and asks Lucifer for a favor while they are investigating. And it's basically a family dinner because he doesn't want to leave Earth until they're all reconciled. But your Uncle Lucifer refuses and goes to continue the investigation with your aunt, as usual, and their father is... Your Aunt Mazikin comes to him. She's upset with him because he made her a demon, and as a result, she doesn't have a soul. On the other hand, your Uncle Aman convinces your Uncle Lucifer to join them at the dinner their father's hosting. Everyone attends, feels secure, and sits down to eat. But they were just fighting with each other a little while ago. But the conversation gets heated between your Uncle Lucifer and your Uncle Michael, who is Lucifer's twin. Michael tells him, "Because of your actions, you deserve to be the guardian of hell and never get out of it forever. Come on, man," and all that stuff. And they're about to fight while the old man is sitting there. But suddenly he says, "Enough, guys." And as he says that, lightning flashes and all that. I mean, he's supposed to be Zeus. That's Zeus himself. The following day, your Uncle Lucifer persists in his investigation of their current case, which eventually leads to a murder. As they sit together at day's end, she asks him about what he was going to say to her before time stopped. He tells her that if he says, "I love you," he'd be lying. She questions if he's really a man. And then the next day starts with your Uncle Lucifer singing like a slave about Chloe. Man, just tell her you love her already. Why are you torturing us? Anyway, he finishes and finds his father behind him, who tells him that Michael has returned to heaven. And while there's a case going on that day, when your Uncle Lucifer visits a crime scene, everyone unexpectedly starts dancing and singing like in Bollywood films, leaving him confused. After the performance ends, Lucifer realizes his father orchestrated the event. That same day, Lucifer's father meets your Aunt Chloe for the first time. She criticizes him for being a poor father to Lucifer, neglecting him, failing to discipline him properly, and overall not fulfilling his parental duties. But he thanks her for caring about his son, or at least he was starting to. Lucifer and Chloe interrogate suspects at the police station who start singing religious lyrics. They continue inside the Shabiat channel, singing until Lucifer's father arrives, so he can stay with him for a while, and he starts introducing him to human life, which he doesn't really know about. Anyway, he introduces him to Uncle Dan, and Dan is kind of shocked and doesn't know how to react. And he believes her when he finds out that your aunt, may God have mercy on her, was a police officer. She was Lucifer's stepmother, or actually Lucifer's mother. Then your Aunt Mazkin comes in and they keep dancing. Anyway, let's go back. They keep dancing and singing, and then they finish as if nothing happened. Then your aunt is like, "What's this? What's this?" Honestly, she's amazing, I swear. The only character, and Lucifer goes to your Aunt Linda, who is a psychiatrist, so they can solve their problems psychologically, like, how do I convince myself? Anyway, they keep talking. The discussion concluded with the suggestion that Lucifer's father should act like a supportive parent. Heeding Linda's advice, his father accompanies him everywhere, caring for him and treating him like a son. But you feel like he's treating him like a 6-year-old, even going with him to the case investigation. On the other side, he visits Majdan Laman al-Dal to learn more about the conversation suggesting Charlotte was Lucifer's mother. After finishing their conversation, they end up dancing as they usually do. The next day, Majdan was filled with dancing. making it feel like a disco or tat channel, unlike Lucifer the series. The following day, Lucifer is dragged to breakfast, where they compliment his appearance. Hodge, anyway, on the same day, they continue their case and solve it, thank God, as usual. At the end of the day, Lucifer's father visits him at home. They talk and then start singing as if on a music channel. Uncle Lucifer questions the sudden singing. He asks his father to stop making them sing and dance like before. But his father replies that he doesn't know how to stop. What's happening is because his powers have started to weaken and he's starting to lose control. Or he loses control. I mean, if you lose control, how can you convince me? You know that you're pleading and talking to Lucifer, your Uncle Emad, to discuss the problem they're in. And on the other side, your Aunt Chloe is holding her daughter because she hit her classmate at school. And then your Aunt Chloe goes to work with Lucifer. Of course, they go as usual to the crime scene and start working on the investigation. And of course, the veil comes, and Lucifer, as we said, he decided to take care of his son like that. And while they were undercover with the criminals, Lucifer accidentally slips up and says that this is a trap for them. So the criminals pull their guns on them. And when Lucifer asks his father to use his power, he says, "I swear to God," and he uses it, bro. But how does he say, "I swear to God"? He tells him, "I swear, my son, I can't use it again, I swear." Anyway, while they're talking, one of the female criminals hits Lucifer's father. So Lucifer gets angry and says, "Hey, that's my dad." Then he beats them up and goes to his father because they need to figure out what to do about his lost power. And while they're talking, Club's little daughter comes in because she's running away from her mother. While her Aunt Club continues the investigation, Lucifer's father leaves the house to leave the whole city. And while he's at the train station, Mazkeen followed him, intending to kill him. Your Aunt Trixie, the daughter of your cousins Lucifer and Chloe, also followed him. Because, I don't really get it. Uncles, cousins. It's all very strange because she wants to run away from her mother, you know, Kebab. Ahlam, as kids, we all wanted to run away, but unfortunately, we never did. But honestly, this girl is right. When they catch her, what are they going to say? What's the big deal? Chloe's daughter and Lucifer's father are conversing. Your Aunt Mazkeen refrains from her intended action due to the presence of your cousin Chloe's daughter, Trix. And Lucifer and Amenatiel are looking for their father. They're worried about him. Why are they worried about him? Because he's the guy who's a bit clueless. It's like you could say he removed the chip that had his powers. Like a flash drive, and the flash drive got lost, really. And now he wants to format it again.
Where did it go, man? Where did it go? What's up, man? Are you making faces at me or what? Your face is for sale, available from Zaknov. Taken from the Banana Zaknia. Where did you put it? The failure.
Guys, it's important. How long will this go on? When he returns and tells them he recalled where he placed his abilities, he genuinely put them there. It's like a game your cousin, Uncle Achali, played when he lost his powers, but later regained them. At night, when Aunt Trixie returns with the eggs, her mother expresses her love and tells her, "It's not right, sweetheart. Don't run away again. I was just trying to spend time with you." While with their father, Lucifer and Mandel's father tells them he has decided to retire. In the fourth episode, pay attention, the fourth episode. At this age, it's completely pointless because it's talking about just a random day in Dan's life, which is honestly pointless. But anyway, do you remember when your uncle went to shoot your uncle Lucifer? Remember that? So Lucifer planned to get revenge on him, so Lucifer held a grudge, and he actually got his revenge. In episode 12, a nasty prank is pulled on Lucifer. The next day, he goes to his usual nightclub and finds Chloe there. It's an entertaining episode worth watching, and she says she wants to know for the last time if they're together or not, so he tells her, "Yes, we're together." They look at each other and go together to the crime scene, but this time the crime is different, because the killer turns out to be Linda, and they're shocked when they find out, especially since Linda herself says, I killed him with my own hands, I killed him." The important thing is, what she says is vague, so they have to arrest her. And they know she's lying and that she didn't kill the victims, but she's lying for a reason. You can't even find the chicken, man. And of course, the whole thing about her following her daughter, and if you don't remember, Felinda has a daughter. But her daughter doesn't know she has one, because she left her in an orphanage or something like that. And while she was watching her daughter do Hajj, her daughter goes to the victim's house and kills him. Felinda tries to turn herself in instead of her daughter. Adriana Asami, easy and great in this series, is who your Aunt Linda is completely convinced didn't kill anyone or do anything. Of course, she didn't kill her. Your Aunt Mays investigates the matter further. When by coincidence she meets Eve, yes, Eve is still alive if you don't remember your Aunt Eve. Review the previous summaries to avoid having to be reminded each time. That's sufficient. And your Aunt Eve says that after she left Lucifer, she started working on catching criminals and handing them over to the police, and that she's also investigating the case as a bounty hunter. So after a long day, they find out that... So, who's the killer of the neighborhood? I'm not gonna say who the killer of the neighborhood is. I'm just saying, who is the killer of the neighborhood? No matter what, aka WA. The last day you meet Linda and Adriana for the first time, and it's a moment to see trust. Your Aunt Lucifer and Uncle Arnant Diallo discuss their father's upcoming retirement in Vilman. They hope to divorce and replace him for a good reason, believing he should be respected. After much consideration, a man refuses, wanting to live his life on Earth. So they're thinking that Lucifer's the one who will take his father's place, right? Lucifer what? No, I own him. Which Lucifer are you referring to? From the people who would take his father's place? When Lucifer tells Chloe he's going to take his father's place, she gets upset, thinking he's going to leave her, unsure of what's happening. Anyway, we stopped at the part where they're at the greeting, and Amenad comes to him and tells him that their father has come back again. So, he gathers all the celestial beings to throw a kind of retirement party. You sons of the infidels. You sons of the infidels. Because of the infidels. That's it. Go ahead and subscribe to the awesome Haduda channel, because I talk there about the Greek gods, like Zeus and his children. Come on, it's all messed up anyway, never mind. When your Uncle Lucifer acts in front of the angels, as if he's going to replace his father, they disapprove. They prefer Amandel to take their father's place instead of Lucifer. And when your Uncle Lucifer goes to do his job on the case, he's distracted by all this stuff about his father. And they decide to have a family meeting with Chloe, her mother, Lucifer, the old man, and all that stuff. After the strange meeting, Lucifer and Chloe investigate their case the following day. Once solved, Lucifer meets up with your uncle. Amandel and their father give him a retirement gift for helping an angel, the one who can deliver a message to anyone anywhere, meaning she delivers a message to their mother, or rather to Charlotte, the one who is in the form of Charlotte. The mother and father reunite and bid farewell to Lucifer and Amandel. Lucifer's father expresses his love for him, affirming that he will always be his son, and hugs him in a moment lacking genuine emotion. Not at all, because this is his daughter's family. That's the important thing. So, they say their goodbyes and head to Charlotte's world, because that's the important family. And on that day, your Aunt Chloe comes to Lucifer and tells him that she's okay with him taking his father's place and becoming the big boss. Then, one of Lucifer's sisters comes and tells him that Michael is gathering the angels' support to take their father's place. Here, Lucifer's sister supports him to be the one who takes their father's place, because Michael is ruthless, while Lucifer is more merciful than Michael. Do you understand who's the better choice? And at the same time, Michael gets the dagger from Azrael again. If you don't remember, this dagger is capable of killing celestial beings like Lucifer and his siblings, and all these things. The next day, she abruptly announces her retirement at the station in front of everyone, but insists they must finish their work first. At the end of the case, Dan gets kidnapped when he reaches the murder scene. He continues training, but while defending himself, he is shot in the chest. And your Aunt Chloe arrives and helps him, but he dies in her arms. It was a touching moment. I really liked your Uncle Danny. He was...
Just a man, but...
I loved him. Anyway, everyone gets affected, especially when Trixie asks about her father. It's a sad moment, I don't know. When will God guide me? Anyway, they hold a big funeral for him. They honor him as a respected officer, and they go arrest the criminals who killed him, and Lucifer literally beats them up or kills them. At night, Lucifer tells Linda that the world is full of evil and failed systems, so he doesn't just want to avenge his father. He wants to do it even if it means starting a big war. And Lucifer is surprised while he's at his nightclub by the presence of your Uncle Michael. He was about to fight with him, but Michael tells him that he just came to say a cryptic word and leave, and that he wonders why he's trying to please him. The offer was that Michael would rule paradise, Lucifer would rule hell with Chloe, and the great lost one would hide. In my opinion, I think all of you should go to hell.
The boy!
That's your main place, you sons of bitches. Anyway, your Uncle Lucifer refuses. On the day your Aunt Louie visits, Lucifer's sister Remio surprises them during their conversation. She came and collapsed on the ground, and when they go to her, Lucifer tells her she's dead, and they see burn marks on her body and realize she's dead from the flaming dagger, or what is Azrael's dagger. And they're able to meet your Uncle Michael, and he's got an army of angels allied with him, while Lucifer only has a Menadil with him. Now Louis understands, man, and he's not just anybody, you know his story. And Lucifer asks for a vote on who will take their father's place, and when Lucifer talks about his reasons for wanting to rule, which are his love for humanity and people, some angels start to support him, but he still falls short. Michael's supporters are way more than Lucifer's supporters, But suddenly, Mazikeen shows up with a lot of people from the prison, and they're all still dead. So the souls of demons possess them, and they come to fight with their leader. A big battle starts between them, and fighting breaks out between Michael and Lucifer, and whoever survives among them will rule. Michael has Azrael's dagger, which can reveal Lucifer's identity. When Michael is about to reveal Lucifer's identity, they make a move and take the dagger from him. But then Azrael appears, and that means someone is going to die, and indeed your Aunt Chloe is killed by your Uncle Michael. Lucifer's at the peak of his sadness. Crying over her, she says her last words until she dies in Lucifer's arms. Thank God, I won't even say anything during this sad moment. Maybe she'll come back, maybe she'll die again. Here, your Uncle Lucifer spreads his wings to fly to heaven and bring Chloe back from there. The important thing is the reason behind what happened. A battle begins between the angels supporting Michael and the angels supporting Lucifer, and Chloe is above in heaven, sitting. She's eating fruit with her father when she sees a meteor-like object. She exclaims, "Oh God, what's going on, guys? What's happening?" The meteor turns out to be Uncle Lucifer, who is surprised. She wonders if a meteor will fall on their heads and blow them up, that he didn't burn when he entered paradise. And that's because of the ring he's wearing, and that ring is the ring of immortality. The amulet belonged to your Aunt Lilith. It's a protection, which is why he and anyone who enters paradise wearing it are forbidden from entering. Tell her, oh Lord, I swear to God, people didn't even ask for this. What is he doing? That's the important thing. But it starts. All these things will burn. The ring's effect ends, so he gives it back to Chloe to return with it again. I mean, I don't know how. And while Lucifer's burning, he finally tells Chloe that he loves her. Finally, man. Finally. Seriously. Finally. Anyway, Chloe comes back to life and finds the battle still going on. And your Uncle Michael was about to kill her again, but since she has Lilith's ring, she's strong now, and all that stuff. She manages to hit Michael and holds her ground. And before she tells him, Lucifer, still alive, appears and tells Chloe that killing isn't her nature. He takes the dagger from her, cuts off Michael's wings, and forgives him, offering a second chance. He doesn't kill him, so all the angels, starting with Lucifer, because this way he has absolute power, and thus he takes his father's place in ruling. In the last scene, we see them all saluting him, following him, as Lucifer raises Azrael's sword or dagger and says, "Oh my, what have I done to you?" That's when he takes his father's place. Nothing prevents him from strutting around with Chloe and solving cases, so he'll resume doing so. Your Aunt Nis paired up with Eve thanks to Netflix. Dan, who passed away last season, now looks like Nargu Annam, but Lucifer stopped the demons from torturing him and made them play ping pong with him. And we see that there's someone on the throne, Lucifer's thing as the king of hell, and the next day, Eamon Nadell goes to Lucifer and tells him that it's time for him to go to heaven to take his father's throne. But your Uncle Lucifer wants to stay and keep taking risks with you if you have time and love adventure. So Lucifer goes to Linda to get her advice since he doesn't know what to do. I mean, can you imagine Lucifer? What are you now? He went to Linda for advice. That's the important thing. Especially for Lucifer, who's supposed to care about the 7 from the humans. But he doesn't even give most of them, or maybe I'm slow, most of them don't even happen, so Lucifer goes to try. He helps Detective Corbett and keeps sticking around him all day. By the way, your aunt is really into that detective. And on the other side, in hell, the mysterious characters are revealed to be not a tortured soul or a demon, but an angel, as evidenced by her wings. She is present in the location because she wants to destroy Lucifer. Come on, I swear I can't stand him. And we go back to Earth, where Detective Corbett and the others agreed to go out on a date, but in hell. The girl who wants to kill Lucifer goes to Dan Katat to help her kill Lucifer, since he almost killed him before, in exchange for getting him out of hell. On the same night following Corbett and Ella's date, Ella is overjoyed. After thanking God, she's surprised to find a frog falling from the sky onto her car. The sky is raining frogs, which is strange. She considers keeping the frog as a pet, seeing it as something special and connected to something bigger. When Lucifer seeks Linda's advice again, he misunderstands her, as he often does. There's a reason for his recurring misinterpretation of her words. He becomes convinced that he must help someone he dislikes, so he goes to assist them. Lucifer decides to go to hell to bring back a dead criminal he had arrested, telling Chloe, "I'll drag your mother back." Chloe, who has a strength-enhancing necklace from the previous part, asks to accompany him, and Lucifer agrees. Michael's water broke recently. Meanwhile, the girl and Uncle Dan go up to the surface. When they arrive at Lucifer's house, Danny calls out, saying, "Come quickly, there's a crazy king who wants to fight you, Lucifer." But when he tries to hit her, his hand passes right through her. She explains that despite being in the world of the living, he remains a ghost-like spirit, as he's still dead. He's essentially a spirit, as I mentioned before. Lucifer and Chloe are in hell. Meanwhile, officer training is starting. While in hell, it's Uncle Lucifer and Chloe. They go through the wrong door, turning into cartoons. When they try to leave, the door's gone. Lucifer's face resembles a butt. After many attempts, they manage to escape, only to find themselves trapped in another state of hell, set in the 1980s. He keeps moving until they get out. Chloe says she wants to see Dan, so he goes to his door, but is surprised to find that Dan's not there. Lucifer finds something at the house, but an angel appears and strikes him, declaring she will finally have her revenge. But he asks her, "Who are you, my girl?" So she tells him that she really is his daughter. Yeah, Lucifer has a daughter, yeah, so your uncle is surprised. Lucifer tells him, "It's me, I swear, I've never seen her before. I don't know who she is." What? She accuses Lucifer of abandoning her, but he maintains he doesn't know her. Dan, in a tough spot since angels can't have children, tells him, "What about this girl? Just mind your own business." "What do you mean?" He pulls her aside, so Lucifer tries to calm her down and talk to her, but she keeps insisting that he's her father, while he keeps insisting that he's not her father. She leaves Lucifer confused, who says, "I'm Lucifer, I saved you. Can't you let me stay and not send me to hell?" When Lucifer says it's impossible, Dan gets upset and angry, leaving as Lucifer insists, "No, really, that's not it." And he starts thinking about the possibility that the angel he saw might actually be his daughter or not. And he goes to look for his old girlfriends, because maybe one of them is the mother of this girl. And he searches in so many places and tells Chloe everything. So she comes to help him with the search too, and when he goes to one of his old girlfriends, he finds one of them, Mira, left home 5 years ago, so he suspects it's her, especially since she wanted to see her father. And on the other side, Dan is on the ground and no one can see him since he's a ghost. But now only your Aunt Miss and your Uncle Aman can see him. Lucifer's search leads him to a girl named Mira, but she's not the one who came to him. Lucifer visits Dan at the end of the day, and he says that being on Earth is more tormenting than being in hell, because no one can see him, no one can touch him like this, and he can't even hug his daughter or have her see him. So he wants to go back to hell again. But Lucifer says he can't send him back, because he's become like a ghost, so unfortunately he can't take him. But we're shocked when we see that Lucifer's daughter enters Chloe's house and hugs her, because she's her mother, which is important. So Aunt Chloe is very surprised, and she tells her daughter, whose name we find out is Rory, that the situation is complicated. Really complicated. And when Chloe finds out her name is Rory, she's shocked because that's the name she would have given her daughter if she had another child. So she becomes convinced that Rory isn't lying, and she takes her to Lucifer's house. And that's when Rory says she's from the future. She says that in her time, she always wanted to see him and hoped he would come to her, but she got frustrated when she lost hope, and suddenly she found herself in this time. Lucifer is shocked that he would abandon his daughter, just as his father did to him. He insists he would never do that. The show leaves viewers wondering if Lucifer would really abandon his own child. Lucifer believes that in the future, Azrael's blade kills him, explaining his absence. He thinks his death would have prevented issues with his mother. Lucifer chooses to return the blade to heaven. But if that happens, then Chloe's superpower from her necklace will disappear when the sword is far away, a situation she dislikes. The officer is not okay with this either, and she prefers that they think practically about why Lucifer will die in the future, and how that's going to happen. She asks Rory about her father's whereabouts. Rory reveals the last place she saw him, which turns out to be a dentist's office. There, Lucifer encounters an issue with the receptionist, leaving his purpose for being there unclear, so he promises that he's going to kill him. But then he decides to make peace with him, because he remembers that he might actually kill him in the future, and that would keep him away from his daughter. And by coincidence, Lucifer notices that Azrael's sword has disappeared. The story continues after we find out that the sword is missing, and now Lucifer feels in danger, because that's the only thing that can kill him. Anyway, Lucifer suspects that his daughter is the one who took it to kill him. But after all that, Chloe finds out that she is the one who took the sword. Yes, because as we said, if the sword goes, she will go too. Chloe's strength as well. But she is still determined not to let the sword kill Lucifer, to the point that they kind of fight each other, and it turns into a big confrontation between them. And Chloe, by mistake, well, in some days you wrote that Lucifer, unfortunately, she didn't kill him. So Lucifer says, does that mean he now knows who will kill him in the future? Chloe, your aunt, is crying due to her actions. She asks Lucifer to take the sword and keep it away from her. The same day, Lucifer visits Dan, and Chloe sees him. And she's really surprised because he's supposed to be dead, but she saw him because of the necklace Chloe has, which gives her powers like Lucifer and the other angels. She sits with him and talks, but suddenly he disappears in front of her, which means Lucifer probably took the sword. Dan spends the day miserable due to being a corrupt cop. Meanwhile, Lucifer attempts to reconcile with his daughter Rory after upsetting her by suggesting she would kill him with the sword, and so they make a decision. He brings her a lot of gifts, one for every birthday he missed in her life, and he also goes with her to teach her how to drive. On the same day, Amandel confronts the corrupt cop about his actions. The cop apologizes, claiming he has changed. Meanwhile, Lucifer's daughter explains that the past cannot be altered because it has already occurred and will cease to exist in the future since it is immutable. Amandel's role is crucial, as he prevents a corrupt cop from killing Samark's innocent daughter based on mere suspicion. Amandel's intervention proves the girl's innocence. And as for Mazikeen, she's preparing a party for Eve. And then we're surprised by the appearance of someone named Adam, who tells Eve that it's time to go back home. The important thing is that we have nothing to do with the knowledge of those infidels. But Eve says she's not marrying Maze just to get his attention, but because she loves her. Anyway, they go to Linda since she's a psychiatrist. And when she finds out, she tells him, "You're not alone, Dean." Oh guys, I tried to do this show. Thank God it's the last episode, just the last episode. What else? What about you? Is there honesty? What else? I mean, what more could you have done? Didn't you already do it? That's it. Didn't they do it every time? Adam reveals to Eve that he kidnapped Linda, the wedding officiant, because she was supposed to marry them. Eve retaliates by hitting him and tying him to a chair. The wedding finally takes place. Meanwhile, Dan feels down as he sees his daughter Trixie, but can't bring himself to talk to her. Your Aunt Rory, Lucifer's daughter, meets her sister Trixie, and they talk, unaware of their relationship. Meanwhile, your aunt, after some investigation, discovers that Lucifer is the devil and Amenadiel is the angel. And of course, you know the rest. When she remembers, she grabs the mic and says everything she found out, and that she knows who they are, guys.
That boy!
Besides, she's convinced that the end of the world is very near because of some interpretations she has. So this is the time for Lucifer to go and take his father's throne, because the world has started to lose its balance. But a problem happens when Lucifer tries to bring out his wings, but they don't come out. So he says that until his wings feel like it, he'll just go, he'll see the world, and he actually goes. This is the first time Ella sees Amenadiel with his wings, and she's amazed, so he goes. Your uncle. In his final therapy session with Linda, Lucifer reveals his wings, but decides that after his experiences on Earth, he's not the right person to replace his father. If my father and your mother are coming right now, the reason is that their siblings are causing chaos and creating an imbalance in the world, because there's no one ruling over them. Lucifer tells Amenadiel he doesn't want to take his father's place yet, despite being just like him, not much different from before. The next day repeats itself. The day Rory said Lucifer would disappear, and Lucifer decides not to go to the place Rory said he would disappear. He spends a nice time with his daughter. That same day, while he's talking, Chloe reveals she's pregnant. As for them needing to find a solution because Lucifer doesn't want to take his father's place, he decides that he will take the throne. On the same day, Dan finds out that he can possess anyone's body, and he manages to possess the body of the killer who killed him. By chance, he learns the truth and visits Lucifer to explain. Fearing it may be their final day together, Lucifer spends the rest of it with Chloe and their daughter. And on the other side, he goes, "Your Uncle Dan talks to his daughter as if he's her father's friend. She says she loved her dad and that he was supposed to be a hero who deserved to be in heaven now. And after Dan forgives himself like that, he won't be in hell anymore." There are only 35 minutes left in this day, thank God, and he spends them with Chloe until the day finally ends. They're happy that nothing happened to stop him from being with them until his phone interrupts them. The caller is your Aunt Roly, but the speaker's someone who has kidnapped her and is holding her captive at an unknown location. He wants Lucifer to retrieve her from Anya, which happens to be the same location where Lucifer is meant to vanish. So, your Uncle Lucifer decides to go get her even though Chloe says she wants to go instead of him. But Lucifer refuses because Chloe's pregnant and he wants to go in her place. But Chloe insists on coming with him because they agreed to be partners until the end. The kidnapper is revealed to be Lomac, Dan's killer. Dan had taken over Lomac's body, but when Dan left for heaven, Lomac became free and gained knowledge of everything that was said while Dan inhabited his body. But Rory manages to spread her wings and also attacks your Uncle Lomac, but his assistant has a tranquilizer ready and hits Rory with it, knocking her down. At the same time, your Uncle Lucifer and Chloe arrive. The first person he killed is with him. A blade from your Aunt Rory's wings, because Rory's wings are kind of like, what is this? Spikes or sharp edges. And indeed, your Uncle Lewis is inside cutting Rory's wings. But Lucifer and Chloe keep fighting as men, and there are a lot of them, really a lot, until Chloe gets stabbed with a blade. And she's determined to keep going. They know this won't kill her as she'll give birth to Rory. Lucifer leaves to save Rory, but Lamech holds a gun to her. Knowing his fate and wanting to save Rory, Lucifer tells Lamech to kill him and get it over with. Meanwhile, Rory frees herself in a fit of rage, her face taking on a devilish look from the overwhelming anger she feels. Lucifer keeps begging her to let him go, because if she kills him, she'll become a devil for letting her anger control her. The important thing is, he hugs her. Just before he kills Lamech, Chloe appears and shoots Lamech in the heart, eliminating his mother. Lucifer survives, and Chloe receives treatment. After the day passed and they were still there, your Aunt Roly finally realized that her father saved her from death and was there for her in her hardest time. So she goes back to her own time and tells him to promise not to change anything, even if he disappears, so that life goes on the right way. Meanwhile, Amandel takes his father's place, stabilizing the world. He is in heaven with your Aunt Charlotte. Amandel's son, Charlie, grows up, gets wings, and turns out to be an angel like his father. Chloe gives birth to Rory, her daughter. Lucifer returns to rule hell. When Chloe dies of old age in Rory's time, she rejoins Lucifer in hell. That's the end of the story, isn't it? Finally, we're done with Lucifer. Finally, after a month and 100 months, a month and 100 months, after about 3 to 4 months, we're done with Lucifer. Thank God, thank God, thank God, we're done. I'm not going to do anything about that Son of an Atheist show, because I know that in the future, they might say it's a spin-off or related to Lucifer. So I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to do it. The important thing is, I'm doing something else. So finally, Lucifer is done. Just say, God, let us finish the other series that we pushed ourselves into, and now we don't know what to do. And that's it, man. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And don't forget to do the prayer mat benefits. And don't forget to follow Kimo-sama, because he's the one who edited this video. And don't forget to follow Ahmed Osama, because he completed the channel subscription.